start by giving us an update on Gerardo Daniel's situation.
Really disappointing. Friday night we knew there was a bit of an issue. We knew he had to come off the pitch, so that's never a good thing for a start. And then subsequently Saturday, Sunday, he was scanned by the national team, and then again we found out very quickly that it's a serious knee injury. Now, I think what I probably can say at this point is it looks like that'll be season over for him. I don't want to get too carried away. He's got an appointment today with a specialist here. He had a long flight back to Holland initially, and then flew from Holland back over to here at the beginning of the week, so we need to get him in to see the specialist. And I think most importantly we just want to show our support to him. Very disappointed because he was on a high, that his performances had earned him the right to go and play for his national team. He was the first sub on after 45 minutes, and life looks good at that point. And I think what people need to understand is how much a blow that is to football players. But my words to him is it's not even close to a career-ending injury. It's not the end of his career. So I think we need to remember the kind of mentality side of it for football players. When you think that the world's at your feet and you've enjoyed your move and this league suits you and all that type of stuff, the first thing we need to do is we need to look after them, and we'll do that medically, but we'll also do that for a personal basis. The players have been unbelievable with him, because one or two will realise how much a blow that was to him, and we're a tight-knit group here. We insist on it, and to be honest it's not been a fight in that sense. The players immediately get round him and pick him up, and I think within the next couple of weeks, once we get today's news or bit of feedback, before you know it, you're starting to set your goals moving forward and for what comes over the next few months for him.
A big blow sort of on the park as well, obviously tough for him, but then tough just given the fact that he's had a great contribution so far this season, and that's not a gap to fill.
Yeah, it is, and it's a double blow in the sense that we lost Marley Watkins a couple of weeks ago as well for an extended period of time. I think a lot of people will see that a lot of games this year we've played with two strikers, which leaves me with two naturally fit strikers at this point in time. There's obviously ways that I can adjust the team. I've spoke so much about how much a contribution I've had from all of the players to this point, you know, some less so, but because somebody in their place is doing well. So yeah, we're going to have to be creative with this now. We're going to have to make sure that we can carry as much of a threat at the top end of the pitch. If we're making substitutions, we're bringing players onto the park, we are going to have to try and be creative with it, as well as insisting that the players that are available keep up the levels that they've shown since the start of the season.
I know it's early, but does that potentially alter January plans?
Really difficult to say. You know, we hope that we can get Marley back sooner rather than later, which obviously gives us another striker option there. Scott Tiffany's coming back towards full fitness. He's had some good minutes over the international break. He played 60 minutes in a B team game on Friday, and he got another 60 odd, nearly 70 minutes in a bounce game against Newcastle on Tuesday. So it's a situation where I'm just trying to accelerate that recovery of certain players. Jamie Brandon being another one, different position, I know, but you know, Scott's a different profile of player from these guys, but he's a player with quality and a player that we've kind of been desperate to get back fit, because we know he'll add something to our group.
How much are you relishing the challenge of welcoming the league leaders this weekend?
Yeah, I think I just look forward to the game in general. I think we look forward to it because they are league leaders and they've started the season so well. We want to test ourselves against teams that are playing well and doing well. Hence why we took a game in Tuesday there as well. It was a brilliant experience for the players. And then I think, you know, we're obviously doing no too bad ourselves, so we want to try and maintain that, and we want to try and keep that run of good form going. I think there'll be a big crowd here. And it's what this league throws up. It's just another fixture that this league throws up that I believe will be a real tough test for us. But again, I hope to see our players and our group going strength to strength and improving as we go.
A big away crowd coming, and Derek McInnes obviously coming back. Does that add an extra edge to it all?
Again, I'm really consistent in what I say. I was asked this question a few weeks ago when we were playing against Motherwell for my own situation. It happens in football. Managers go back to clubs that they've been at. You know, speaking from a personal point of view, so much respect for the work that Derek has done at Kilmarnock, so much respect for him as an individual. And as I say, that happens. You go back to your old club. Some people are disgruntled by it in some way, some people aren't happy by it in some way, some people show their appreciation. I won't be able to control that, nor will Derek. So I think if people get our kind of psyche, it is that you're concentrating in the team that you're working for, the football club that you're working for, you're giving everything to that cause, and then ultimately you want your team to win when the game comes around.
Confidence and morale of the squad, obviously Gennaro's injury aside, but within the squad there must be that belief and that confidence you're carrying considering where you are at the table.
Yeah, that's performances help you, results help you. I think at any stage in the season to be going for your third consecutive victory in this league, you know you're in a reasonable position at that point. But as I've stressed to everybody before it, and hopefully you guys understand that I wasn't getting carried away, I've been pleased with so much that we've done. You know, I think you get questions and statistics thrown at you when you've not won that couple of games. Now that narrative changes. I'm not getting too carried away, nor are the players. We feel that if we can execute what we want to do in possession and out of possession relatively well, we stand a chance in most of the games, if not all of the games. And it just so happens that we've had two really good victories, two really good clean sheets that's built on, for me, a lot of strong performances in there and a really competitive side, and that's what we're aiming for again this Saturday. But it's going to be a real challenge. Obviously, everyone can see that Hearts have got their tails up at this minute in time, but we don't need to centre on that and focus on that too much. We need to draw on the positives that we've got here, of which there's plenty.
Stuart, you mentioned there 2-0 wins in a row, back-to-back clean sheets, youth product, David Watson captain, under 21s again, Ben Brannan, Archie trainer, under 19s, open day for families and kids to come along to. There's a lot of positivity around Kilmarnock at the moment, isn't there?
Yeah, it is, and it's all driven by what happens on a Saturday. I know the kick-off times are different. This one will be again on Saturday. I normally say 3 o'clock on a Saturday, but it's not that very often anymore. But everything's driven by what happens on the pitch. You know, you can have all the incentives in the world, you can have aspirations to go away with national teams and all the rest of it, but all the good things tend to happen when you're getting it right. We work exceptionally hard, like most teams do, during the week to try and execute that when the game comes. And as I say, when you're doing that individually and collectively, you give yourself a chance for loads and loads of positivity. And I think my message a lot of times to the players is to make sure that you keep that feeling. It's hard, it's difficult, you've got to get through the graft and the grind, you've got to get through tough moments in games of football, you've got to play through the pain barrier sometimes, but when you do that, the carrot the other side of it, and you've rhymed off some really good things there, you want to keep that feeling and you want to keep those experiences and you want to build on it and make them even better.
Yeah, and talking about positivity with the wins, it was the first home league win against St Mirren. Just how important are the home fans when the games in this league we've seen so far this season, that they're so tight and they're on a knife edge? How important are the home fans to get behind the players?
They're massive, but again, this is the old school bit in me all the time. We need to give them something to be positive about. I think I've spoken about this a number of times, that you know, you come into a stadium and we expect supporters to always lift us, and supporters have to sing and have to dance about and all the rest of it. You have to do something on the pitch, and you know, sometimes it's the most simplistic things in football that create that. The example I always give in it, and it's probably my biggest one, and most of you will remember it, it's not scoring a goal, it's not a wonderful pass. It was Andy Robertson against Man City some years ago when he presses about 6 different players and chases across the park from left to right and back across again, and then he's after the goalkeeper, and then you hear Anfield. It's probably one of the best atmospheres I think I've heard watching a game of football. I wasn't there, and sometimes you come back to it and you say there's top players, top teams, but it wasn't a magical pass, it wasn't scorching one in the top corner. Sometimes just that basic desire to get about your work can lift the place, and then from there that can be the catalyst that takes your performance and carries your team on.
Brilliant. And just one more thing from me, up against Derek McInnes again, only one defeat against him in your last 8 matches when you faced him in the opposition dugout. Does that give you confidence? Do you look at stats against other managers, or is it?
I'll take your word for that one. It's not something I've thought about at any stage. What I know is I'm coming up against, from a personal point of view, somebody that's tactically very astute, somebody that has his team very well motivated every time I've played against him, somebody that knows the game inside out, and yeah, those statistics, I suppose, if you wanted to look at it, are fine, but it stands no grounds whatsoever for this weekend. Derek comes with with a new group of players from what I've faced him with. You know, he comes with a different team altogether, and you know what, I think sometimes we want to try and make it about managers and coaching staff, and we all want to try and make ourselves dead important. I don't. It's about the players. It's about the players going against each other. It's about managers and coaches trying to ensure that they prepare them as best they possibly can and give them the best opportunity and the best support to try and get the result you want.